welcome back into Spaceflight Simulator. We're doing this live again. Let's go ahead and resume the game and let's see how far we can get. So, alright, separate that. Uh-oh. Yeah-oh. We might be in trouble here. Doesn't seem like it does not seem like our booster wants to separate. Oh dear. Alright, we're spinning a bit out of control. I'm not even sure what happened here, to be honest. Been a little while. Well, now we're spinning out of control, so that's great. Let's go ahead and... Oh! Oops. Well, that's okay. Alright. Once we hit a kilometer, we'll go ahead and pop the parachute. And speed time up to that point. Alright. Going down. Try to use as much of the blunt capsule shape as we can to slow us down even more. Here you go. 2,500 meters. Alright. Slow us down a little bit. And as soon as we reach a kilometer, go ahead and pop the chute. That's realistically probably way too high. We've deployed the chute, but that's okay. We'll just speed up time until we hit the ground. Alright, there we go. Chute's out. And slow down time. There's the ground. And here we go. Nice and gentle plop. Perfect. Go ahead and recover that. We did nothing. That's great. Alright, we did get some extra money though, so let's go ahead and accept that. Go to build a new rocket, and let's build a new one. In fact, let's exit the Space Center and let's see if we can unlock anything. Let's see, research and development. Bigger booster would be good. That costs 10 million, we can do it. Alright, following that is a heat shield, which is also 10 million, so we could do that. Or, whoops, go back into research and development. So, it's the heat shield or aerodynamics. Side boosters. Yes, we get the side thing as well. That costs 20 million. Alright, so, I'm thinking first thing we do, let's try to get up even higher. 10 kilometers. I think that's our goal. Let's aim for that. So we're going to build a new rocket. We're going to go this, oops, parachute on. We'll go separator, we'll go booster, we'll go separator, we'll actually go small booster again, and we'll go separator, and we'll go big booster. I hope this, yep, the thrust to weight ratio is 2.19, so in fact I could actually go again. If I put this here, what's our thrust to weight ratio? 1.98. So if I do another one of these, that still has a thrust to weight ratio of 1.4. That's not bad at all. So we'll do that. And that gives us a thrust to weight ratio of 1.8, which is just about where we want it to be on liftoff. So let's go ahead and try that. Let's hope, if we get above 10 kilometers, I'll just separate all the other stages because we do not have a heat shield right now, and we kind of need one of those. I probably should have thought about that. Here we go. Alright, going well. Alright, good. Separate and fire again. Perfect. We're going to stay mostly straight up because we're just trying to aim up, but we will aim slightly sideways as well because I think that gives us a bit more vertical velocity, which is brilliant. Here we go again. Turn to about 15 degrees and we'll stop there. Perfect. Alright, separate that and go again. And let's hope that this pushes our apoapsis above 10 kilometers. If not, I'll just fire one going straight up. That's 5 kilometers, that's good. Alright, out of solid fuel. Let's separate that. And there we go. Up we go. Hello, 9 people watching. How's it going? We are in the career mode of Spaceflight Simulator right now. This is, again, it's been out for a little while. It's a spaceflight game. It's 2 dimensions. It's kind of the basics of spaceflight, but it runs well on a phone, so I could do Juno Dimensions. I do also have that installed. If you'd like to see that, please let me know. I will consider streaming it soon. So here we go. Coming back down. Let's go ahead and speed up time so we're not waiting up here forever. Speeding down. Let's go ahead and aim the blunt side of the capsule towards a little bit, bleeding off as much velocity as possible. Here we go. Alright, we'll go ahead and slow down time to 1 time so that we can deploy the parachute accurately. And I'm going to actually wait a little bit later this time. I'm going to, at 300 meters, I'm going to pop the parachute. And so this is risky. I don't want to risk it. Okay, pop the parachute here. There we go. And it's out. Perfect. Now we wait to descend. Oops. So and plop. Perfect. We completed a challenge. So let's go ahead and recover it. Continue. We got 15 million funds of that. Perfect. So let's go ahead and recover it. And we will back up to the Space Center. And I think the next thing we need to do is a heat shield. So let's go ahead and get that. So research and development, we'll go heat shield, and we will go unlock for 10. Okay, build a new rocket. Let's go ahead and continue this build. And let's go ahead and see what happens if I just do something like this. Does this have enough power to get us off the ground? It does, but I'm not happy with it. So let's actually go ahead and do something like this. And this seems a bit strange. Basically what this should allow, I can't make it like aesthetically pleasing. That's a shame. It does give us, ooh, that gives us a lot of thrust to weight ratio. Do you know what? Let's try, let's try with just the one. And let's see how far that gets us. It may not get us very far, but let's just give it a go. Here we go, launch anyway. And let's go. Up we go. Okay, do you know what? A 1.3 thrust to weight ratio is not too bad. Let's go ahead and just start angling immediately. Just a little bit. All right, disconnect and fire again. Good. All right. Goal is to get up. Fire again. I don't actually know what the next challenge is. I probably should have checked that first. But let's just see how high we can get. So I'm not actually going to angle us any more than this. Separate and go again. Good. Basically, the intent here is go up once the rocket's out of fuel, wait until we reach apoapsis, and then fire again, and that should get us even higher. Here we go, going up, still going up, and go again as we start to lose speed. Alright, so that's 5 kilometers with the engine still firing, so that's good. There we go. Separate the booster, we don't need it anymore. And here we go. We are well on our way up. That's 10 kilometers. Let's see how much higher we can get. Let's see if we can get any higher. If not, I could aim for downrange distance. Okay, that has gotten us higher, but it's not high enough. Got us 12 kilometers, that's not too bad. But it's not going to get us any higher than 12. So let's go ahead and speed up time in the blunt side into the airstream so that we're bleeding off. Fortunately, we're not traveling enough fast yet to need a heat shield. I think I'm going to actually put a heat shield on this and give the rocket a couple more stages. Here we go, coming down. And then as we hit 500 meters, go ahead and pop the parachute. We're still traveling at 3 times speed, so that should be fine. 150, 130, 100, 70, 50. There's the terrain, down, and there we are on the ground. Recover the rocket. The challenge is completed. We actually got nothing for that launch. That's brilliant. Alright, anyway. Go ahead and return to the builder. We're to continue this build, and we're actually going to put a couple more stages on it. So let's go ahead and select all of this, move it down. I probably this as well. We're going to put a heat shield here. We do not want that, so we're going to grab all of this, and if I come down here, all of this, and that. We're just going to shift it back up, just like so. And then we're going to add an additional stage here. Whoops, here. If I can move this up one. Goodness, there we go. Oh, nope, it doesn't like that. Alright, we'll put it there. And we're just going to go one on the side, and one on the side. Just like so. And we're going to go ahead and do that again. So we're going to go one on the side, and one on the side. It gives us a thrust weight ratio of 1.27. So, let's go ahead and see how this works. So we're going to go ahead and hit launch, and let's fire the engines. So, oops. Oh dear, it appears that's not actually connected. Alright. That's a bit embarrassing, isn't it? Alright. Let's go ahead and hit continue build, and so we'll throw this away for now. We do have a thrust weight ratio of 1.71. What if I just put the 1 on? That gives a thrust weight ratio of 1.03. That's not great, is it? But it is still above 1. So if I and this, let's try this out. Right, engines on. Up we go. This is kind of a stupid looking rocket, isn't it? Alright, go again. Once again, this stage is not very powerful, but it should be enough to keep us going up, and it is. That's brilliant. We do not have much thrust to weight ratio with it, so we're going to go ahead and fire this one. There we go. See if we can leave the atmosphere. So let's not tilt over anymore. Let's just try to go straight. Fire. There we go. Continuing to go up. That's good. Disconnect that. Wait for the velocity to reach 50 meters per second, and good. And basically this should give us just a little bit of additional height to our apoapsis, waiting for the velocity to go down. Disconnect the booster. There we go. 50 meters per second, go again. Good. Per second, that's brilliant. Drop that away. Now we wait until we reach 50 meters per second. And we go again. Here we go. And hopefully, we can actually leave the atmosphere this time. That would be brilliant. Although I kind of doubt that'll happen. Let's go ahead and drop the booster. We don't need it anymore. And we're on our way up at quite a good speed. 10 kilometers. That's good. Ooh, it doesn't look like we're actually going to get very high. What can I do to make this better, I wonder? Our apoapsis is only 11.7, so do you know what? I'm actually going to revert this to build, because that's not actually going to get us anywhere. So, what can I do to improve this? If I do this, the thrust weight ratio isn't high enough. That's a problem. And how much funds do I have right now? So let's go ahead and exit to Space Center. We need 20k and we have 15k. Alright. So what are the challenges? Ooh, our downrange has to be 100 kilometers. It's quite far. So 10 kilometers we've reached. 30 kilometers. That could be quite challenging, actually. Well, let's go ahead and... we will continue this build for now, although I'm not sure how great this build actually is, to be honest. Well, we'll keep trying it. We'll see what happens. By the way, can I clip things in Korea? I don't think I can. If I do this... Oh, I can! Well, that makes life a little easier, doesn't it? Alright, and then if we... Actually, if we put 2 here like... then I can do 2 more underneath. Like so. Oops. There we go. That gives us a thrust to weight ratio of 1.12. Alright, let's see if we can reach space with this. How are they covered? Oh, they're covering each other. Alright. So, we will revert to build. And let's actually... Do you know what? I reckon we can still do this. We just move them over one. So if I just do like this instead, That gives a thrust to weight of 1.12, same thrust to weight ratio, so that's good. Go ahead and hit launch, and go. Here we go. That is a very, very low thrust to weight ratio, oh dear. Gonna have to be fast with the clicks here. Go, 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 go. We were falling as well, so that's not great. It means we kind of undid our progress, but that's alright. Here we go. Climbing again. That's good. Drop, drop, and fire. Fire. Good. We are on our way to space. That's brilliant. Alright, drop the booster, and go. Fire. Go. Good. I am kind of failing at clicking. That's not brilliant. Oops, drop the booster, and go again. Good. This way we stay on our way up. That's what we want. Kilometer, that's good. Out of fuel. Drop it, and go again. Perfect. Where are our hypothesis? It's not climbing very high. This concerns me slightly. I'm just going to continue firing rockets, and we'll see how high our apopsis can get. Hopefully to space. That would be brilliant if we could do that. Oh? Not high enough. Alright, so we will revert to build once again, because that's not actually helping it out at all. What if we were to do something similar to what I've done with those ones, with these ones? So if I do this, do we still have a manageable thrust-to-weight ratio? Do not. However, if I get rid of these two, then we have a more powerful second stage. In fact, if I can do that here without too much performance, that might be worth it. So let's see what our thrust-to-weight ratio is now. Still 1.2. Why is this one transparent? And why aren't these? I assume that's a glitch. They are in the same place. Anyway, go ahead and launch. Fire. Here we go, on our way up. Once these run out of fuel, we ditch them and we fire again. Good. Oh, we undid our progress again, though. Alright, ditch them, fire. Why are these not firing? Fire, 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 fire. Uh-oh. Alright, well this could hurt. Oh, there we go. Okay, we're to build. What I really need here is stage. I can set staging up. I just can't use it, because see, if I do this, and this, and this, and not that, this, and this, and then set these stages as well. There we go. Let's see, I don't have a little staging thingy here, so that's not actually, unfortunately that's not very helpful. And fire these rockets. Let's see if we can at least get a little bit higher. Disconnect, fire the boosters. Nope, they do not want to fire. Oops. Oh well. Yeah, let's do this. This isn't a bad idea. In fact, hang on a second here, having a thought. How much mass does this add? 0.5 tons. That's not a lot, is it? This adds 0.4 tons. Well, guys, I'm stumped. I don't actually know how to get any higher than that. Unless... Hold on. Slight thought. What if I do this, and then just move all of these up? So that gives me a small stage. But then also to, in fact, can I rotate these? I can. Ooh, more thoughts. Okay, then can I put rockets on the end? I can. Okay. What do you think, chat? Think this will work? Think this will... We do have a thrust to weight ratio of 1.91. That's incredibly good. I think we ought to try it. Let's hit launch. All right, so fire these first, and then these. And we are off. None of these run out of fuel. We ditch them. Disconnect, disconnect, disconnect. They do not want to disconnect. And it doesn't want to fly. Ah, good. We didn't actually lose any progress there, so that's actually brilliant. That works. Good. Disconnect, disconnect, and go again. This is actually working surprisingly well. My only hope is that this little engine here is enough to propel us upwards. Ooh, and it's not quite. That is concern. Oh, actually it is. Just took us a couple seconds of losing velocity, but we are still going up, so that's good. Disconnect and go again. Good. Well, we might still have propulsion at 10 kilometers, which is a very good sign. Disconnect and go again. Let's have a look at where our apoapsis is. Ooh, we're kind of trailing it, unfortunately, which is a sign that our rocket is quite heavy. Go again. Oh, look at that. Shoot up, shoot up, shoot up, shoot up, shoot up. Get us well above that. Yes, we are well clear of the atmosphere. We should be safe, in fact. Go ahead and disconnect that. That should give us a slight little push upwards. And because we are shaped so triangular, we actually shouldn't experience too much drag on the way up. So, in other words, we should get to space. So let's have a look. Let's see how much velocity or altitude we've lost. We did not lose that much. That's brilliant. We're in space. We've made it to space, which means we're going to get a little bit more funding, and then we can get side boosters, or properly working side boosters, which will be wonderful. All right. You know what? Let's go ahead and speed us up a little bit. All right. We are at 1 times time warp. We're about to punch through the atmosphere. Let's see how badly the heat hits us. It shouldn't be too bad. We're only falling from 35 kilometers. It's straight down as well, so there's no density. In fact, we're not even really heating up. Oh, here we go. 20 Celsius. There we go. There's the compression in front of the spacecraft. So we are getting a little bit of plasma. We probably won't get too much, actually, because, well, actually, speak too soon. We're beginning to burn up slightly. That's quite a bit of heat. 400 Celsius is quite hot. 471, and do you know what? That's actually not bad. All right, so now we're falling below. Roughly 4 kilometers up, and we're just falling back down. Let's go ahead and speed up time until we get to an altitude that we can pop the parachute, and then we should get some funding for that. Hopefully a decent amount, because it would be really nice to actually be to pop the parachute. Hope I didn't wait too long. No, I didn't. We're safe. Here we go. And at 50 meters above the ground, there it is. We can see it now. Coming down. And booshy, we're safe. Yay, we reached space. Let's go ahead and recover the rocket. Continue. All right, we made $70 million. That's brilliant. All right, let's exit the Space Center and let's actually get some much-needed upgrades. So, research and development. First thing, yes, we do need the side boosters, because that unlocks everything else. How much does this cost? 45. Ooh, ouch, that hurts quite a bit. But liquid-fueled engines can be turned off and throttled, which is very important. So, Let's go ahead and get those. And then from there, we have the option of either landing equipment, so a smaller engine and some landing legs, or a larger fuel tank and a larger engine. This is probably the route we'll go. So for now, let's see what our next challenge should be, shall we? And I think we should aim for a low Earth orbit. Do you guys agree? You guys haven't been chatting much, have you? That's all right. Let me go ahead and make sure that my chat's actually working. Oh, here we go. All right, now it should be working. All right, now chat should be working. I apologize if you guys literally couldn't. Go ahead and get back in. We're going to build a brand new rocket this time. What we need is a liquid-fueled rocket to get into space. So, or actually, we're in space. So we're going to do this. This gives us some fuel, and oops, I want to scroll. There we go. And then we're actually going to do another. Let me see if another liquid stage will actually have enough thrust to push us. It does. That's a powerful liquid engine. Do you know what? That's brilliant. All right. We'll put another thing on that then, and we will go for a solid at the bottom. And that gives us a thrust weight ratio of 1.66. That's still incredibly good, so we're actually going to do another one of those. 1.24 is still quite good, so we're actually going to do yet another one of those. As you can see, most of this is just stacking rockets on rockets, and that does not quite have the thrust weight ratio that I'm looking for. That's all right, because what I can do is I can enhance it with these, and then these don't actually give you too much in the way of... these don't hinder you too badly, and they also give you just... They make the rocket look quite cool. I hope, as well, that we have access to staging now, so I'm actually going to go ahead and do this. And I'm just going to set up the staging. Even if we don't have it, it's just nice to know that it's there. It's nice to know that, like, if we had staging, we could use it. Oops. There we go. There we go. In fact, these should probably fire in the same stage, because we can turn that engine off. And then we're also going to do the same here. And then that. All right. So that should have us set. We're aiming for a low Earth orbit, don't forget. So nothing too fancy. Let's go ahead and hit launch, and we're going to go. Let's go. Oh yeah, feel the power of that. Oh, all the boosters are out of fuel. All right, let's just do that then. I kind of expected them to have a little bit less fuel in the smaller ones, but okay, that's all right. Out of solid fuel, go again. This is going surprisingly well. So remember, we're aiming for orbit here. The solid fuel runs out quite quickly. You can actually see that on the bottom right. But as soon as we switch to liquid, look how efficiently this burns. And this is one of the least efficient liquid engines. Look how much fuel we have in there. It's actually insane. I may not be able to get us into an orbit here, I'm realizing, because I'm not sure if there's going to be enough fuel for that. But we'll aim for it, and if we don't reach it, then that's okay. We're just going to fall back to the planet anyway. We are going to actually aim quite sideways here, because at a minimum, I would love to get 100 kilometers downrange. Would be brilliant. So we'll aim for that as well, just in case orbit doesn't work. Another thing that I can do with the liquid engine is I can fill it if we need to. So 15 kilometers, we're going to go again, and I'm actually going to throttle this one down to 57. And that keeps us increasing in altitude and speed. And we have penetrated the atmosphere, so that's actually really good. I'm going to bring the throttle down even more, in fact, because that makes us burn fuel slightly more efficiently. We're actually going to aim like this, slightly. With the intention of raising our periapsis. So this little dot right here, that's our apoapsis. And that is the highest point in our orbit. So what we're trying to do right now is we're trying to raise the lowest point in our orbit so that we can actually, get into an orbit around the planet, effectively. It doesn't look like that's going to happen, which is all right. In fact, I'm actually going to stop it happening because we would not have the fuel to return. So that's perfectly all right. I'll add another stage to this, and we should be perfectly all right there. I think I'll make the side boosters fire independently of the main booster on liftoff. And do you know what? I'm going to go ahead and separate us from the main stage. And let's go ahead and rotate into a position for re-entry. And I may as well just warp us around to there. So we are in space, notice. Whoops, we are not in position for re-entry, are we? Here we go. Much better. All right. So for re-entry, you kind of want to face just like perpendicular. You want your heat shield basically to be taking the brunt of the heating forces. So we're going to accelerate slightly, and here we go. You'll see what I mean. So we've got quite a bit of velocity here. I'm going to move this up so we actually see our heat shield heating up, and we're going to hit the atmosphere quite hard because our Paris is actually above the surface, which means we've got quite a bit of speed. All right, here we go. So this is actually going to be probably quite a challenging re-entry, and I'm going to be tapping right every now and then just because there's no real automation here, obviously. It's all hand controlled. And all I'm doing is trying to keep us perpendicular to the flow of air. Heat shield takes the brunt of it. You guys really aren't chatty. That's alright. I was just kind of expecting a little more. And here we go. Alright, 500 Celsius, reach over 1,000 Celsius, which is incredibly hot, but it's also good. Means that we were moving very, very fast, and hopefully we should get 100 kilometers downrange. I hope that's the case anyway. Like, at a bare minimum, that would be nice to achieve. And yeah, when we get back into the hangar, all I'm going to do is I'm just going to give the rocket a small upper stage adjustment, really just a small upper stage, and that'll allow us to just go a little bit farther and hopefully have a little bit more fuel when we're actually on orbit. Because realistically, you don't need that much fuel to come back to the planet. In fact, you need next to none. But it's just like you can do some maneuvering on orbit if you've got a little bit of extra. It's just good to have, basically. Getting quite toasty here, isn't it? 1400 Celsius, that's quite hot. You can see the plasma buildup. I am so glad that the game added that. That's been in the game for quite a while now, but I was playing it before they added it in like 1.4. Yeah, it's just nice to have it now. Wow, 1700. It does get very, very hot on re-entry, huh? We're still at 16 kilometers. Let's try to point the capsule down a little bit. Try to aim us down and just push the periapsis and apoapsis down slightly. As you can see, we are not going to leave the atmosphere again. So you can see our trajectory, this little gray line here is our trajectory. And basically, all I'm doing is I'm just trying to force it into slightly more bubbly and less flat. A flat trajectory is good for getting into orbit, but for landing, you want it to be a bit, quite bubbly, actually. You want it to be far more parabolic, just because it's a bit safer. It also generally reduces the heat load on the vehicle. The heat's going down now, so it doesn't really matter, provided we keep our heat shield pointed into the flow of air, because I believe even now that the plasma's died down, if we were to go sideways, we would actually start burning up, which would not be good. All right, but now we should be safe. So let's go ahead and do that. We're only moving at under 200 meters per second now, so we are fully safe. And here we go. So I'm actually going to point us completely straight up now. There we go. And there we go. All right, so we have successfully re-entered the atmosphere, and hopefully we get quite a bit of money. We did not actually get into orbit, which was the goal for this launch, but I still say this is a success. We got a lot farther than we have on previous flights, and that's because of the liquid fuel boosters. You guys just saw how powerful those actually are. Those are very important to actually have. So anyway, as we reach below 1 kilometer in altitude, we should think about deploying our parachute at about 300 meters. Excuse me. All right, that's 300. Deploy the parachute. And there we go, nice and safe. You can actually get a very last minute deploy of your parachute. I believe if you drop the parachute about 240 meters up, then you just watch the animation and then the capsule's basically on the ground. I just don't really feel like trying that. Okay, we did land 100 kilometers downrange though, so that's good. So how much money do we get for that? Oh, we got nothing. Ooh. Okay, good to know. All right, so let's go back into the build. We're going to continue this build, and we are going to... I'm going to give it a small upper stage. So we're going to drag all this down, and we're going to just do this and this. All right, we'll just shift these away for now. And this. We'll drag all this down. We'll put this on top of that. Oops. Good. All right, these two can go here. And then we need all this again. Good. Shift it back up. Perfect. All right, thrust weight is 1.55. That doesn't actually sound all that high, and I don't know if the boosters are going to be enough. That said, I'm going to try this. So, if we pull this down to here, and set that to that, this may not actually work. I'm going to put this up here. This may not work. Those boosters may not have enough power to push us off the ground. I just kind of have my fingers crossed that they will. So let's go ahead and hit launch. That way, the boosters fire slightly before the central ascent engine, and that way all three are pushing into it, but the boosters will have slightly less fuel going up. Also, I'm going to actually put these into the same stage, and I'm going to get rid of that one. I'm going to do the same with all of the solid stages, because I already did that with the liquid stages, and I think it makes a lot of sense for the solid ones as well. Okay, so that should be quite a decent rocket. Let's go ahead and give it a go. So we need to turn it on. I don't need to throttle up because they're solids. They're always at full power. We'll go ahead and hit start, and we'll hit start again. All right, so we get a bit of a boost upwards from the side boosters. And then as they run out of fuel, we'll disconnect them. And then we'll disconnect that stage, and we'll continue going up. And then that runs out, and we can go again. And then I didn't actually check the thrust to weight ratio of the liquid stages, but they should be all right because they had 1.9 or 1.89, which is quite high. So I'm actually going to bring the throttle down a little bit, and we'll try to stay at a fairly shallow, or not a shallow. We'll try to stay at a fairly steep ascent trajectory for right now, and that's just because I don't with the upper stage, which is now the middle stage, but. Yeah, it's just a little bit more efficient to pull the throttle down a little bit. And in fact, on the next stage, I'm going to pull the throttle down even more, probably to 65 or 70. And yeah, we'll see how that does. So let's go again. We'll pull the throttle down to, in fact, we'll pull it down to 58 just because that's where it landed. So there we go. And it does look like we are still ascending quite nicely. So let's go ahead and go sideways. And again, our main goal here is to have some fuel on... Oh, we can actually start aiming down a little bit. And remember, the main goal here is to have some fuel on orbit. In fact, I'm going to pull the throttle down even more. More than that. The goal here is to have some fuel on orbit that we can use to deorbit once we are in space. So we're properly in space now, and I'm going to actually aim down even more, because that means that we don't actually need any more vertical ascending. We will go ahead and separate... And I didn't connect. Oh, dear. Oh, right, yes. My apologies. That's on me. I did not add a stage for the thingies. So here, this is... Yeah, so we'll get rid of this stage for now. And we need another stage for this engine. There we go. And then we'll add that stage, and we'll make the parachute stage as well, because we might as well. Okay. Let's go ahead and try this again. I'll move me up here so that you can see. And let's go. So again, I don't need to throttle up because they're solids, but whatever. go and go. And that gives us a bit of a boost. And then you should run out the main one. There we go. And then as we continue on our way up, we should actually be set, or just about. So we're going to keep tilting over here slightly. Go again. And we're going to pull the throttle back to 80. Good. And we're going to tilt over to about half of what it suggests, and then we're just going to keep going slowly from there. I'm just going to tap right, and that allows us to just ascend at a more gradual and realistic pace. And yeah, this is just a good ascent trajectory. I actually this is my preferred trajectory when I'm flying my my Falcon replicas in this, because it allows the first stage to go all the way up into space, and then the second stage can get into an orbit while the first stage is still in space. You don't have to worry about the first stage burning up, which is nice. Anyway, here we go. Tilting over more and more and more, and we're actually going to go, oops, there we go. All right, we're going to pull the throttle back to 65. Let's keep going. So we're actually going to aim almost sideways here. We'll actually do what it tells us now. So we'll go to 75. We're going to pull the throttle down to 55. And let's have a look at our trajectory. So we're not quite in space, as you can see, but it doesn't really matter because it's still pushing the apoapsis up. And there we go. So now the apoapsis is in space. We're going to aim almost completely horizontal relative to the planet. And we're just trying to get a nice bubbly trajectory. I'm going to pull the throttle down even more. And that should give us a nice even trajectory to try to aim for. We'll go again, and here we go. So this stage should hopefully be able to push us into a nice round orbit and give us a bit of fuel to return to the planet as well. That's the goal anyway. So it looks like we should be able to do it. Let's pull the throttle down more so that we're saving some fuel. We're going to aim down, pull the throttle down more, and turn the engine off. We are now in orbit, and we do have enough fuel to return to the planet, so that's actually brilliant. So there we are. Beautiful orbit, all in one burn, which you don't have to do. You can do a burn up and then stop it once you have an apoapsis in space and then burn at the apoapsis. I just like to do it all in one burn. It's just easier. Anyway, yeah, so let's go ahead and I'll go ahead and time warp us around the planet a couple times. So we'll just go 500 times. We'll go 1 and 2 and 3, and then we'll deorbit by pulling the periapsis down. So in order to do that, all we're going to do, time warp around to the apoapsis, pull the time acceleration down to 1, rotate around so that we're facing backwards relative to our orbital direction. So you see how we're kind of orbiting clockwise. Basically, our engine is now pointed anti-clockwise. We're going to go full power, and we're just going to go on until we run out of fuel. Perfect. All right, let's go ahead and disconnect that stage. We don't need it anymore. And let's go into the atmosphere. So here we go. As I mentioned, you do want quite a quite a parabolic trajectory. This is not very parabolic, but it was all the fuel that we had, so there was nothing else we could do. And you know what? It'll work for our purposes, so that's all we need. So here we go. Heading down, and we're beginning to heat up. I don't want to accelerate time too much here, because it could actually mess with things slightly. So basically what I mean by that is, like, tapping it like you see me doing here, it reacts a lot more violently to that. If I were to leave the if I were to actually accelerate time here, I can accelerate up to 3 times, but I don't, it's very jittery. Basically, I don't have the control that I need to try to not burn us up, because if it goes too far off axis, and you'll notice, like, even right now, I am aimed slightly outside of the stream. I'm aimed, like, more down than the arrow shows. But if I go too far like that, then the capsule will start tipping over and point forward, which is not great. It's not what you want, because, well, it's hot. So, yeah, this is basically, you just have to do this at real time. Fortunately, the planet that I have is not real scale. You can do a real scale planet, actually. It's the hard mode. I don't think you can do that for career, but I could be wrong. it sounds like a bit of a nightmare, to be honest, if you were to do it in career, because I don't know if their challenges really reflect the difficulty of that. So, anyway, we're on our way down now. 18 kilometers, so definitely still very, very hot. And it's still getting hotter as well. So 1500, 1600 Celsius, and let's actually. I want to see if we break 2000. I don't think we will. It was a pretty standard orbit, so I kind of doubt it. But we are at 1900 Celsius, so that's getting somewhere. 1900 Celsius. Oh my goodness, I think we're going to break 2000. That's 2000 Celsius. That's insanely hot. 2007 Celsius. All right, and now the temperature dropping back down again. We still don't want to tip over too far until the plasma flea dies down and we're traveling less than 100 meters per second, or at least less than 200 meters per second, because we could still burn up, and we don't want that. I apologize, by the way, if my voice sounds a bit strained or jittery at times. It is very, very cold out here where I'm recording, so yeah, it's just a bit. This is probably going to be the last flight for the night, to be honest. We made it into orbit. We should get the funds for that, and then in the next stream, we will we'll work with what we unlock. So after this flight, I will unlock all of our new toys, and we'll see what we get. The next stream, we'll actually play with them. We'll see what we can do. I'm going to bring the time warp back down to 1, and then at 300 meters, I will drop the parachute. In fact, at 200 meters, I'll drop the parachute. And hopefully we have time for it to open before the craft hits the ground. Oh yeah, easily. Easily, but I probably don't want to push it too much farther than that. As you can see, there's the ground. Alright, perfect. We landed. We reached orbit. We have either landing. That's a moon lander, and I don't think we can get to the moon. That's okay, and let's see what we have here. Powerful rocketry. We can afford this, and do you know what? I think I'm going to, because the powerful engine and the bigger fuel tank, they're very, very useful. So I'm going to go ahead and unlock these. That gives us 0 funds, but that's okay. And then this, the moon lander, might be what we unlock next time, or we might unlock this engine. This engine is slightly higher efficiency. Its thrust is not very good, but it is slightly higher efficiency, which is very, very good in space. It actually says here, high efficiency, low thrust. So 40 tons of thrust, not much. That's okay. It doesn't need that much thrust because it's meant to be used in space. And its efficiency is 280 ISP. What is the ISP of this engine, by the way? It doesn't tell me. That's all right. 280 ISP is actually really, really good, and we can definitely use that. So let's aim for this next stream, actually. But yeah, that's going to be where I close this off for now. So thanks for joining me. If you were here, I appreciated having you. Hopefully you guys will be a little more talkative in the next stream. That'd be great. But yeah, that's going to be where I end this one. So thanks so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye, all.